I'm Shrey, CEO at Syntaxa, if you do not already know that. Today we're going to talk about how to choose the right workplace for you. And in this session, we're going to learn what are the things that you should prioritize, what are some misconceptions that are out there about the workplace, what are some myths about what defines the best workplace and what doesn't define the best workplace, and how to maneuver your career through that, right? So in the last session, we learned about what is the life of an IT professional, in which we talked about a lot of pitfalls that the IT professionals gets into in different stages of their life. If you haven't already checked that video, please make sure to do so. You're going to learn a lot on that. Today we're going to talk about while working or when choosing which workplace to work, what all things are going to be important. So are you all excited? Do you really think so? All right, so let's start with it. Number one question, and by the way, the complete session is going to be very interactive and very engaging. It's not going to be me speaking 10 different things and trying to explain the most complex concepts out there. I think the kind of personality that I have is about simplifying the most complex things out there in the world in the most simplest language and in the most simplest formats. And that is exactly why the Salesforce tutorials that I have on Salesforce Hulk are also very popular. And this is exactly what we're trying to do with these sessions, so that people can get it into their mind that what actually matters and what doesn't. So we'll start with the questions, right? We'll have questions. You can answer those questions, and we'll have some interactions, and then I'm going to explain you the concepts along the way. So it's going to be an engaging session, not a one-sided movie presentation that is going to run on the show, right? Ready? Number one question. What exactly the best workplace looks like? Just give me a definition of what exactly a best workplace looks like. I mean, what is the definition of best workplace? And we can answer these questions in Hindi as well if you're not comfortable with English. I think my job is to just speak in English so that we do not become, so that everyone can learn and understand from it. But yeah, you can give answers in Hindi as well if you're comfortable, or if you're not comfortable. Work mixed with fun. All right, that's the definition of best workplace for you. For anybody else?
I can get a lot of growth opportunities, but it doesn't seem like a core as well.
All right. Anybody else?
Where you enjoy working, like vibe honi chahiye.
Vibe is very important thing nowadays. When you choose a workplace, how do you understand whether there's a vibe or not when finalizing the next workplace for yourself?
People around me, how they are enthusiastic towards their work, and
But how do you get to know about that in the interviews only?
I saw that there is we don't have cubicles over here, and there is no, like, I didn't see a hierarchy type system. So वहाँ से पता चल गया था vibe है यहाँ पर.
All right. So the answer which Kushali gave is exactly what it is. The best workplace is absolutely subjective. It varies from people to people. Some people want an environment where they can learn and where they can grow, and where they want the team leader or whatever, the one that they're reporting to be very nice. And at the same for some people it might be they want their team leader to be a leader, like who's guiding them along the way for their career as well, and in the skill sets that they are trying to possess. So a lot of things. So it's a mix of a lot of things with different kind of people. Typically with the engineers, what happens is initially they want to work in a workplace where they can learn the most, later where they can earn the most, later where they can show off the most, later we can get the maximum comfort. So that's how it defines. That's how the workplaces gets defined, but it's absolutely subjective and typically defined by your peers and friends. What that means is we ourselves do not really know what we need. A lot of times this happens when choosing the workplace, right? And so does this happen to all of you or some of you, that when you go to a restaurant you do not know what to order, and then you see people around sitting on that same table ordering that thing, and you're like, just double it up? Do you do that? That's exactly the situation with workplaces, right? When you're choosing a workplace, wherever your friend is going, wherever your peer is going, you also want to go. Whether it makes sense or not, whether it is something that you want in your life or not, you want to do the same thing because someone who you like or who you trust or who you gel up well with is actually doing that. So it completely depends with the kind of people that you surround yourself with. that what kind of a workplace would you enjoy? Would you enjoy a workplace where there is a lot of work and there is an immense potential to grow, or you're going to enjoy a workplace where there's a free coffee? So that's what the situation is, and it completely gets defined by your, typically for a lot of people, gets defined by the peers and friends. All right. Before knowing more about the workplace, let's first debunk some common myths around the workplace. Right? Are we ready? What do you think is going to be the myth number one? All right. Myth number one is your career is equals to your job. A lot of people think that my job is going to define my career, or my career is equals to my job. Right? Whatever job I am doing right now is what my career is. Right? And or let's call it this way: if I've done engineering, my career should be about engineering. If I've done BTech, if I've done BCA, I should be a computer science engineer, or I should be a developer somewhere out there. There is no other possibility, or there's no other opportunity that I can explore and I can work into. It's a myth. Let's burst it. If a job, and by the way, if a career is not equals to a job, then what exactly is a career? So see, you think your job or your career are the same things, yes? But it is not. Your career is a different thing, and your job is a different thing. If they are different, then what exactly is career? All right. So see, your career is a unique journey where you perceive, and when I say perceive, I really mean that, where you perceive a unique combination of skill sets, experiences, and wisdom, with the help of which you provide value to the market. A lot of people think that if I have done engineering, I should be a developer, and that's all what I should do for all of my life, because that's all what I have been trained for. No, you're limiting your belief. This is a typical myth that a lot of people out there are living into. They think that whatever I'm trained for, or whatever the job that all the other friends of mine or all the other peers of mine are doing, is exactly the same thing that I should also do, because that is what I'm trained for. See, development was not that big of a job 30 years back, and 30 years down the line, I'm not sure whether it is going to even exist or not. But you're going to have a professional career for probably more than 30 years, as long as the people sitting over here. So you attaching yourself to that one job, or to that one job title, and to that one skill set that you are attaining or perceiving in that particular job, is limiting your beliefs and limiting yourself with the one thing that might or might not help you. And when I say in a career, it's a unique journey with unique combination of skill sets, experiences, and wisdom. All what I mean is, it's a combination of a lot of things. It's not just what title you were at, how long did you work on to it, where exactly you were working on, when you were doing that particular job. And a lot of people out there think that a job is completely related to the skill sets. No, it is not. It has got more than that as well. And let me tell you what is that. Other than skill set, there are experiences which teach you a lot about work, which teach you a lot about people, which teach you a lot about life as well, which is also important. And these are the bases that you're creating for your career. So these jobs can be considered as the layering that you do in the sandwich, and the career is the sandwich of all of these three things, right? Where skill set is very important. Experiences, that means what all did you experience? Even if you're a developer from last 10 years, if you worked on to one technology and have just served 2 features per year into that particular technology, into that particular product, you do not have varied experiences. And if you do not have varied experiences, you will not be able to maneuver through complex situations in the future in your career. Why? Because you have less experiences. Let's take my example. I started working very early because I couldn't stop myself from working. This is still the situation with me. I worked with my father. I helped him with some construction work and everything. Till date, that knowledge is helping me so much and helping me save crores of rupees, because I possess that knowledge and that experience of dealing with all of those vendors who help you with the construction of your building or construction of anything. When we built this office right now, this HQ of ours at Maharani Farm, I saved a lot of money. In fact, half of the money, just because I had that experience. At that point of time, I was in BTech. I was learning computer science. There was no need for me to learn how the plumber works, how the electrician works, how the construction worker works. But that experience helped me so much that I was able to scale the organization so fast that now we have a 800 people space of our own, which is getting constructed and will be ready in next 6 months, right? So that experience helped me a lot. And in that experience, I learned skill sets, of course. At the same point in time, wisdom that allowed me and helped me to maneuver about things. A lot of time what happens is people who start their businesses or people who build their careers think that all what they need to do is the one thing that they have learned in their job or that they have learned in their college. No, it is not. If you think you're a developer and you do not need to learn people skills, wait until you feel yourself stuck in a position where you cannot transcend yourself from. So that's what it is. A career is not just a job that you're doing or the title that you have or the package that you're making or whatever. It's way more than that. It's a base that you're building for yourself with the help of which you're going to provide value to the market. By the way, and after that construction work, I became a trainer. That training thing is still helping me so much that you cannot even imagine. Right now, I'm able to build leaders in the organization on ourselves. A lot of time what happens in other organizations is people spend so much money onto these life coaches, business coaches and everyone to build leaders in their own organization because they themselves do not know how to do that because they do not have that great of people skills or orientation skills or they do not know how to do that. Me working as a trainer is still helping me build leaders in my organization, which is not just saving me a lot of money, but at the same point of time, allowing me to have personal connections with the people who are working in my organization and allowing the organization to grow exponentially. So that's something what a career is. You have a limited perception or a limited perspective of what a career should be or what a career is. It's not that job or not that title or not that company's X package or whatever. Even the biggest company out there didn't used to exist 30 years back. Believe me. Oh, all right. Which is the biggest company out there in tech? Google is what we call it as, right? In terms of Apple, Microsoft, they are also very good at it. But when we call Google, we like, oh, it's a behemoth. So even when you talk about Google, the point is, Google didn't used to exist 30 years back. And whether it is going to exist 30 years down the line or not, we all are not sure, right? Even Google, people running Google, I might not be sure. But along the way, what are they perceiving value to the market? Whether they're doing a job, whether they're doing a business, whether they're and by the way, you'll always get respected. You'll always get respected. You'll always get identified. You'll always get value when you're going to provide value to the market. That's all what it is. Even when you're doing a job, if you are making sure that the person you're reporting to is getting what you are here for, your job is sorted. When you're doing the business, if you're making sure that your client is getting whatever you're selling, your job is sorted, right? So that's all what it is about. So at the end of the day, we make money, we do things to provide value to the market. In return, we get things that we want for our survivals and for our desires. That's all what it is. Yes or no? And in order to provide the maximum value to the marketplace, you should not attach yourself to just a job or just a title. What you should do instead?
Allow yourself.
Exactly. Allow yourself to have those experiences where you can gather the maximum skill sets, maximum situations, experiences, and wisdom. Right? So I will go to them. Any questions? All right. We'll take the questions at the last. Myth number 2. Your want is equals to your need. Is it the case? We'll get back to the workplace thing, but let's first unlearn some things in order to learn the exact things which are very important in life, right? And by the way, a lot of learning happens after unlearning. So that's very important. Your want is equals to your need. You want a world tour, but do you need it? You want a Lamborghini, but do you need it? Exactly. And we all are in this pursuit of our wants, but not trying to figure out what are going to be our needs or what exactly are our needs. Are we doing that? Almost very few people out there who are focusing on to their needs, and so many are living in a delusion of their wants. Even if they have the best iPhone, next year, September, another iPhone. Even if they have the best car, they have someone out there who has a better one, and now they want that. So it's an endless pursuit, right? Yes or no? All right. Then the question is, then what is a want if not a need?
Desire.
Okay.
Maybe something you're passionate about, for which you're working really hard.
Alright.
Want could also be equal to ambition. That you aspire to have that.
Cool.
Like it's human tendency to get things more and more. So want is like desire or like greed towards something, but it's not a necessity, something like that.
Got it. You all are absolutely right. A need is a necessary for survival. What that means is roti kapda makan. If you don't understand it like that way, you need clothes to wear. And by the way, not all of them. You need a place, you need a roof on your head so that you can protect yourself from animal attacks and weather calamities and everything. And at the same point of time, you need food to eat. Right? These are the three basic necessities that a human has. Of course, the definition of all of these things are constantly evolving. Earlier, 10 people used to live in one house with 4 bedrooms. Before than that, 30 people used to live in a house of 3 bedrooms. And nowadays, in 3-bedroom apartment, only 2 people are living. And they still want to upgrade it to another 2 bedrooms, right? So the point is, the first job that one should do is focus onto their needs and get them fulfilled. Without satisfying your needs, you'll not be able to even think about your wants. You cannot think about the next sports car or the best tour or the trip unless you have got your necessities or unless you have got your necessities fulfilled. Yes or no? So the first thing that one should do when building a career is to first focus onto their needs. Like, all right, define. These are the basic things that I would need. For me, it was 25,000 rupees per month. And by the way, it's still that. Even though I make a lot more than that, but it's still that. If I'll have 25,000 rupees per month in my pocket, my expenses will be sorted. I'll be able to live the kind of life that I'm living right now. And that's exactly the thing which is helping me grow exponentially and do great things in such less time. Let me explain that to you. I'm not in a constant loop of upgrading my lifestyle because I want more things, because it's an endless pursuit. What I mean by that is, the moment you were in, like, let's say 11th class or 10th class, you wanted an Activa, right? That's exactly what the definition of millennials is, at least, if not Gen Zs. That whenever, if they went into 9th or 10th or 11th, whatever, then now they wanted a scooter, an Activa or something like that. When they got into the college, if we talk about the guys, they wanted a nice bike, right? If they already had a bike, now they wanted a car. And if they already had a car, now they want a better car. And after getting graduated from the college, it's another house, it's an outhouse, it's a better car, it's a better vacation, it's a better beautiful girlfriend, it's what all, right? So all of these wants are endless pursuits that people waste their lives in. And by the way, when I say this, I can also be labeled, then what are you doing? If your needs are satisfied with 25,000 rupees per month, then what are you doing in here? See, the point is, I'm not doing it to get something out, right? When you have a want, when you do more to get a better house, to get a better car, to get a better clothing, to get a better brand, to get a better vacation, that's an endless pursuit. That's a recursive loop that you get into that is very difficult to get out of if there is not a condition out there. And then life puts you into such a trauma because you're endlessly pursuing something which you think is out of your means, right? So, and which leaves you ungrateful for life. The point is, needs are different from your wants. Is it clear? Next question is, then why do we think we want something even when we don't need it?
Because you're not here to just survive, but to live also. Experiencing life. Like, for example, going on a vacation. So it's not really a need, but then you would want to experience it if you can.
Alright, good. Friends को देख के.
Peer pressure, social media nowadays.
Peer pressure, social media, and status. You're achieving a particular status. Show off. हिंदी भाषा का सवाल इतना सा है कि हमें ऐसा क्यों लगता है कि हमें कुछ चाहिए जबकि उस चीज़ की हमें ज़रूरत नहीं है. Alright, reason is someone else has it. We want everything that our immediate circle has. Whether it be that fancy watch that they're wearing, whether it be that fancy mobile phone that they're using, whether it be the car that they're driving, whether it be the house they are purchasing, or whatever. We all are thinking about all of these wants because someone else has it and we like it. And with the help of social media, as you said, now we know more people. Now we know people from all walks of life. And now, even if we are at the level 2 of financial success, we are comparing ourselves with the level 12 of the financial success. And we want the things that the level 12 has. And if we do not see a way to get it, we end up getting depressed. Is that what the situation is? Earlier, I was having a conversation with a lot of people, with not a lot of people, it's few people in our organization. They're smart people, by the way. And I was like, I mean, what is this thing about mental health? So they said, in a concise way, if I put it, 75% of the people are just using it as a term to not do anything because they see no way of upgrading their lives to the level where they imagine it to be or where they expect it to be. And they feel entitled for that. And if they don't get it, they end up in a misery. And that's why they think that they need a therapist. Do you think that's relatable? All of the people who are saying, I am getting into depression, I am getting into anxiety, with due respect to all of the people who are actually going through it, there are a lot of people out there who are misusing these terms to just avoid the life situations that are being tough on them. Right? Is that so? End of the conversation is, your wants are not equal to your needs. And a lot of times, you think you want some things, but you do not actually want that. But you still feel that you want it because someone else has it. That's all what the point is. Or your dear ones are pushing you. No, you should have it. Otherwise, a lot of government officials out there are pushing their kids to be the next government official. Otherwise, how would the legacy of the family is going to continue? Are you kidding me? You're putting that guy through a lot of pressure. Last 10 years, he's been trying for those government services. He's 30 right now. He's concerned about his life like anything. And you are still like, no, you got to be that because we were that. No, there's no point. You be what you can be the best. At the end of the day, you will be providing some value to the market for which you're going to get paid for, with the help of which you're going to survive your needs, and with the help of which you'll be able to fulfill your desires or wants. That's all the situation is, right? Next question. Should you not have wants if wants are like really that bad? You should? Reasonable? Who is going to define reasonable?
Should be defined by you rather than
Not
the
by
circle
someone
around.
else. If you are at 2, then you should not be thinking about 12. You should be aiming at 3 or 4 maximum. So that is more reasonable.
No, why you should not be aiming for 12, right?
Like comparing yourself that there is 12 and then you are.
But
being-
someday you can be at level 12, no?
Someday you can, but if you are at 2 and you are aiming at 12 and putting yourself in misery, that is unreasonable.
Huh. So not beating yourself up is a thing. But should you have wants or not?
Yes.
Alright, the question is, it's inevitable. As a human, it's inevitable to not have wants. If you wouldn't
Had wants, you wouldn't have been living here. You would have already died. You would have killed yourself if you didn't have any wants. That's how dangerous it is. And I believe me, it's absolutely true. As a human, everyone has wants. Needs should be taken care of first, that's for sure. But everybody has wants. And you might say that, यार क्या जरूरत है 1 लाख रुपए कमाने की, 50,000 में भी खर्चा चल रहा है ना, मुझे चाहिए. अरे क्या जरूरत है बिजनेस बनाने की, मेरे जॉब से ही खर्चा चल रहा है ना, मुझे बनाना है. The point is, you're going to have wants. Want is not equals to needs. That's inevitable. But as long as those wants are yours, it's fine. If those wants are the influences onto you from the immediate references or immediate people around you or from some social media content, then that's a problem. If the want is the innate desire that you have inside you, it's a good to have want. But if that's not, then you're going to end up being confused for life that what exactly do I want to do? When I see this influencer, I like to see that I should live in Canada. When I see that influencer, I see that I should become a travel influencer. When I see this bhaiya of mine who is living in Canada or whatever, US, I think I should move towards that place. When I see this particular individual running a business in their hometown, I see that. So you're going to end up being confused if you're going to allow these influences overpower you. And that's something that you should avoid. And having wants cannot be avoided at all. It's part of the human nature. Do we understand that? Really well? All right. And then myth number 3. Your aspirations is equal to society's aspirations. That's exactly what I've been explaining. If the society wants to make a lot of money, doesn't mean you also want to make a lot of money. A lot of people come to me and say, we want to make a lot of money. And I tell them, well, all right, this is the way how you can make it. And they do not seem to be executing anything onto it. So they just think that they want something, they want a lot of money, but they do not have that innate bhook or hunger in their belly to work towards it. Someone does not need a motivation if the want is their own. That's a simple understanding, or that's a simple definition, or that's a simple way to identify whether this guy only wants it but just because it's cool to have it, or whether this guy really, really wants it. That when you allow them to execute onto it, they execute on it. And if the people, even if you allow them, even if you provide them an opportunity to execute onto something, if they're not willing to put 2 steps forward, they do not want it. They're just faking it around that they want it. A lot of people out there, I wanted to do this, but I could not. If you really, really wanted something, you would have figured out the way to do it, irrespective of anything. And that's exactly what it is. So your aspirations are equal to society's aspiration. Society thinks you should have a house by the age of 30. You should have your job figured out by the age of 28. You should have your marriage by 25, 26 if you're a girl, 28 if you're a boy. By 30, you should be a father or anything. See, the point is, if it makes sense to you, do it. If it doesn't, don't. So society's influences should not be compulsions on you. That's what I'm trying to explain over here with this myth number 3. Not always your aspirations are society's aspiration. How to know whether I really want this or not? Right? So like if let's say someone in your friend circle got a car, and you're also thinking that I should also get a car. I can afford it. I just have to pay an EMI of 30,000 rupees, and I'm earning 1 lakh rupees per month. I can easily pay it off. But do you genuinely really need a car? It's something that you'll have to identify. But again, just because they are buying, you are buying is something that you're saying, right? Just because they are buying, shouldn't we be buying it? That's what your question is.
You right now don't know if that thing is going to make you happy or not, but you're seeing the other person and they seem to be pretty joyful about it, about having it. So you wouldn't want to experience
That's show
it.
off that he said.
So his happiness is basically a show off.
See, I see a lot of people who do not have anything and are amazingly happy. And I know the Seths out there who have more than like 1,000 crore rupees, right, in banks. I'm not talking about assets. If I'm going to talk about assets, he'll just double the everything, right? Or let's call it this way. I've seen people 2,000, 3,000 crore rupees worth and miserable, absolutely miserable. Feels like so bad. And by the way, if I'm going to say this to you, you might not feel it, but just experience it. After a certain point of time, all of the more money that you're going to make is not going to bring in much of the difference in your life. That Mercedes instead of a Honda City is not going to bring in much of the difference in your life, other than just, let's talk about it. The moment you bought an iPhone from a normal Android phone or whatever phone you had, that happiness lasted for 1 month. And then it was just again a normal thing in life.
But I experienced it. I bought the iPhone, and that's when I realized, okay, maybe this is not my happiness, and hence I have not been doing that September में नया iPhone, अगले September में नया iPhone. But एक बार समझने के लिए कि
But for you,
this is my
It was, so you have to try it, no? Exactly. So the point is, if you're going to try each and everything in your life, you're going to waste a lot of your life. And in life, all what you have got is time. And if you're going to waste a lot of time trying everything, and when you're losing the time, you'll end up yourself in a ditch where you'll be like, Arey, I wasted so much time. So the best, I'm just giving you that answer in the next question's answer only. How to know whether I really want this or not? That's what the point is. No, I mean, until I'm going to buy it, I'll not get to know. I'll tell you how to do that. Even without buying an iPhone, I will tell you. All right. Even without buying an iPhone, I'll tell you right now that whether something is your real genuine want or not with the answer of this question. But before than that, what do you think is the genuine way of identifying this? And the question is, how to know what is your real want and what is your influenced want? She's saying the way is to try it out. And by the way, this is a major problem with this generation. We think कि यार एक बार जिंदगी में try तो सब कुछ करना है. See, this is a trap. क्यों करना है? If it makes sense to you, do it. If it doesn't make sense to you, you have conversations with people who have done it. You see how it has impacted them. And by the way, even when you're going to have conversations with those people, they're going to say that only. It has helped them a lot. But did that genuinely help them or not is something that you can understand based on your perspective of life. Coming back to the point.
इन्फ्लुएंस मत हो तो किसी से इतना ऊपर उठ जाओ कि इन्फ्लुएंस ना हो पाओ. सेकंड चीज ये कि आइडेंटिफाई करो कि जो उसके पास है अगर मैं उसके बिना भी सर्वाइव कर सकता हूँ या कर सकती हूँ. और थर्ड कि उसकी कंडीशन क्या है, उसका फाइनेंशियल स्टेटस क्या है, जो भी है मतलब उसका क्या है और आप कहाँ पे हो अभी. तो अगर आपको वो चीज चाहिए तो आप पहले उस लेवल तक आओ. देन
ठीक है. The answer to this is, ask yourself, do I really want it even if nobody will know I have it? You want a lot of money, but the other people don't know about you have a lot of money. Will you still want money? You want that? That's the best way to identify. You want an iPhone, but if the other people would not get to know that you have an iPhone, would you want to buy it? You want to have the best of the best vacation out there, but will you be able to restrict yourself from posting it on Instagram? That's the way. If you still want to go for that trip or that whatever journey or whatever that vacation, even if nobody knows you went through it, go for it. You really want it. But if you're doing it for the people, the answer over here is going to be no. I do not want to wear a Gucci sweatshirt because other people would not get to know if it's a Gucci sweatshirt. Would I be willing to pay 40,000 rupees for a sweatshirt? That's the best way. Rather than just buying a Gucci sweatshirt, spending 40,000 and then realizing that it's of no value. Once upon a time, I had 24 to 25 watches. None of them were less than 10,000. And when I say 10,000, I really mean it. Still, I wear a lot of sneakers. Some customized ones, and they're expensive. That's the least that I can say. No one's watching it and no one realizing it, how expensive it is. Later, I was like, do I really want to wear it? And I'm like, no. From that day onwards, all of those watches are like dusting around. So that's how you omit things rather than just trying it out. And when I say trying it out, I did try things out when it comes to watch, sneakers and everything. But the point, the easy way to figure that out is, do I really want to build a business? Do I really want to build the business? Even if nobody knows that I have a business, even if nobody knows I run a business, yes. If the answer is yes, you got to do it. That's your genuine want. That's the best way. Not trying it out. A lot of resources, a lot of money, and end up yourself in a situation which you cannot come out of. That's a problem. A lot of time what happens is, until I'm going to buy a Mercedes, how will I figure out whether that Mercedes is very important for me or not? No. If the world is not going to know about that car's logo and nobody around you knows that you have a Mercedes, will you still want it? Probably not. If you are that car enthusiast who would be like, I am going to drive it like anything. I just wanted to drive it. You need it. You really genuinely want it. But if you want that to showcase it to the other people, that's a problem. Good enough? Alright. Myth number 4. And this is a big one. Job is equals to transaction for the man hours. How many of you think that it is exactly what it is? Or at least this is exactly how your teams perceive it to be? मेरे 8 घंटे हो गए हैं. I am going. That's exactly the thing, right? It's not, by the way. But how many of you see that happening every day around you? Right? So this is a myth that people have. That their job is the transaction that is happening for their man hours. It is not. Then the question is, if it is not, then what is? If it is not a transaction for the man hours that you're putting into your whatever title or whatever job you're doing, what is it?
It's ask what things that you're getting done, the value you are providing.
Anything else? Anybody? By the way, can we share like the presentation over there as well? I'll leave it for now. If you can just do that. Huh. What is it then? If it is not a transaction for man hours, just tasks that you do. Your job is not just a transaction for your man hours. It's a long-term investment that you make in yourself to build yourself for life. Your parents did something in life 20 years back which still might be helping them maneuver through life. That's all what it is. You think it from a very, 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 very short-term perspective. You think it is at an 8 hours need to do today, even if you like it or not. Please try to grow your perspective. It is not that. It's a long-term investment that you're making into yourself. Do you understand about the difference between trading and investment? What is it?
It is every day.
Kharida bech, and trying to cut corners, make some more money, make a little bit more of, trying to make the ends meet, right? That's exactly what traders end up doing. If not, and what investors end up doing? Build a generational wealth if they're really good at it. So when you're taking your job, are you taking your job as the man hours that you're doing or the man hours that you're putting in every day? Or a long-term investment that you're making? Just look, and all what I want is you to look back at your career till date. Do you even remember the more hours you gave to your job, or you remember the things that you have learned, the experience that you have went through, the wisdom that you have accumulated, the experiences that you have had, and the kind of individual you have become today because of those experiences, those skill sets, those wisdoms? You enjoy that individual more, right? Let's say there was a Salesforce developer who was really good in training, right, at Syntaxa. Even if the training part was the harsh one, really difficult, really demanding, nobody hates that after they clear it. Why? Because they built them more resilient in their career. That is where their base got started. And the stronger the base of the career, the higher the building can go. So if you set your bases right, of thinking your job as not the man hours, but as a long-term investment that you're doing in your own career's building, what is going to end up happening? You might build yourself as an individual who is irreplaceable. And that's what a lot of people miss out, which they should not. They just think कि मेरे को इतने तो पैसे दे रहे हैं, why should I do more? मेरे को इतने पैसे में 8 घंटे ही तो करने हैं, why should I wait for even 8.1? Don't do that, no problem. But after 2 years, there will be one guy who is taking it as a long-term investment into their self, and the other guy who is just taking it as 8 hours. The differences into them is going to be like this. And at the end of the day, the market values the value that somebody creates for them. That's exactly how capitalism works. And if you're a socialist out there, I don't think, no comments on that. But the point is, the difference that happens into an individual who take a job as a long-term investment into themselves, into their skill sets, into their experiences, and into their understanding of life is way, way, way fierce. I mean, is a different individual altogether compared to the one who just take it as a transaction for the man hours. So that's a myth that I wanted to break. Any guesses? Do we all agree? How many do you see taking it as transaction for the man hours? Just rough percentage.
80 to 90%.
80 to 90%. And how many do you see taking it as a long-term investment?
10 to 15.
Exactly.
And that's the ratio of the winners and the not so winners. All right. Myth number 5. Brand that the people work in or the tenure they've spent in an industry is equals to quality of people. This is a myth. Let's take an example. Someone works at Google. Oh, they must be so amazing in coding. They must be so amazing in technology. They must be, and with due respect to Google, a lot of people over there might be really good, right? But it just doesn't mean that if you're an IITian, you've made it in your life. You do not need to work more. You stop working onto your skill sets. You stop working onto the things that matter the most, right? So someone who's an IITian doesn't mean they're great engineers. Similarly, someone who's working in Google doesn't mean they're great. In fact, it's most of the time the opposite, to say it that way. And a lot of time what happens is, like, let's say someone who has been working into the best of the best marketing brand out there for last 10 years. Probably they might be the worst people to work with in terms of their attitude, in terms of the skill set that they want to pass on to you, in terms of a lot of other things. So this is a myth and has been working since last 20 years. They are amazing. Do you agree with that? You do not? All right. What exactly is the question? I mean, the question is, someone who has been working into an industry for 10 to 15 years, we end up accepting that they must be really good. The point is, they are just staying at the course. They might not know much things, but just because they've spent more time in, all right, we really think our parents are smarter than us. Do we all think that way? All the parents think that they're smarter than you. But are they really smarter than us? People are like, no controversies here. The point is, just because you have spent more of life doesn't mean you have an understanding of life. Just because you have worked for more years in an industry doesn't mean you know the industry really well. Someone very young might come out there who can actually break your legs like anything and is 15 years younger to them. Why? Because they have more of an understanding of their job, of their industry, and capabilities to execute more. So it's the other things which are more important rather than just the tenure and the brand. But a lot of times we think that this guy has got 7 years, 8 years experience, must be good. No. There must be the lousy ones out there. Most of the time. This is exactly what it is. So just because someone works for a brand or has n number of years of experience doesn't mean they're qualified enough to be your guide or leader. And a lot of time this happens with freshers, right? They get into an organization, they see someone working over there for like 5 years, 8 years, 10 years, 15 years, and they think that they are the best people who can guide them for their career. No. Number of years or all right, let's take it this way. Someone who is working in Google as a software engineer is the one who can guide you for your career. They might be confused in their own career. How can they guide you? So choose your guides wisely. Choose your leaders wisely. And how to do that? What makes people worthy to be a leader or guide for your career?
If they are showing genuine interest in growing.
In growing you.
If they're showing genuine interest in growing you, that's absolutely correct.
Someone who have like logical reasonings. Practically जो explain कर पाए, guide कर पाए कि this is something good, this is something bad.
See, when you talk about India, everyone can do that. There is one thing that we get in here a lot, that is free advice.
Like for me, it's someone who shares the same interest like me, who has experience in that field, so that they can give me guidance around it. Like they have experience of it or they are into it, so they will be able to guide me more.
They must be able to provide me clarity on what I want and what I should be.
ठीक है और All right. See, the point is,
One more thing. One who should be who should guide me towards a lot of opportunities. Okay, this is the thing that you can grow yourself into.
They should be able to provide you opportunities to grow. Absolutely correct. Okay. So the thing is, it's their capabilities and varied experiences that resonate with you. And when I say that resonate with you, what that means is, if I want to be like Dhoni, I should listen to the Dhoni. But if I do not want to be like Dhoni and I want to be like Shami, I should listen to Shami. That's all what it is. If you want to be like Dhoni, but you're listening to Shami, if people don't know who Shami is, I think he's a cricketer. Mohammad Shami, right? I mean, I'm not much into cricket, but anyways. If let's take it that way. If you want to be Sachin Tendulkar, but you're listening to Virender Sehwag, that's not how it's going to work out. So first you have to identify who are you more aligned with? Who do you want to become like? And who resonates with you more? What kind of a life you want to live? What kind of a legacy you want to leave? What kind of skill sets do you want to have? What kind of experiences do you want to have an experience of? Or have a knowledge of, or have a wisdom of? So choose your leaders very, very wisely and very, very clearly. Don't just follow someone just because they have been there around for long. Right? That might not make sense. Getting it? And by the way, it's their capability. And when I say capability, it's all about their ability to do and get things done. That's what matters more. Clear? But what if you don't know what job I should pick? A lot of times it happens with a lot of people. I'm not sure what job I'm made for. I'm not sure what I want to do in my life, what job I want to pick, what to do in this situation.
Identify your skills and your interest.
see, a lot of times it might not
Not have happened with you, but it can happen with you later. Listen to this very carefully. Just because you guys did engineering and you are working into an IT industry, you might think you have made it, but sometime later in life, you might think, what am I doing? The midlife crisis is coming earlier nowadays. So it might happen to it in 28, 30 or something like that. Might. And if it happens, it's good, by the way. If you're amongst the lucky ones who know what they want, then do, what they want to do, then go all in. So like, let's say, I knew it from very, very early, and I consider myself as a lucky one. I knew it from very, very early age that I wanted to do business. Whether I'm going to make money or not, whether I'm going to be famous or not, whether I'm going to be powerful or not, whether I'll be running this big or this small or not. One thing was very, very clear. One thing was very, very sure. I wanted to do business. To do business, right? Not to get the things that business provides you. So I was lucky. And as I grew up, I got to know that I was the lucky one who got to know it very early. But 95% of the people cannot even figure it out till the age they are 60. And they end up doing whatever they get themselves into. Right? That's what it is. So if you're the lucky one and you know from within that even if nothing works out, what would you want to do? Even if nothing is going to yield the returns, what do I want to do? And if you know the answer, by the way, a lot of people think that they know. They want to do something just to gain something. If you just want to do something, even if you don't get anything out of it, anything, and I mean it, anything out of it. I'm doing these sessions for no reason. What am I going to get out of it? Nothing. More people mocking me behind my back. That's exactly what's going to happen. But I'm doing it for the sake of doing it without having any expectations of return. And if the return comes, fine. But I want to do it. Because I'm lucky that I got to know that what I want to do. If you know that what you actually want to do, go all in without worrying about what people are going to think. Go all in into it with all your bets. All your bets, that's for sure. Okay? But how to figure out what should I do if I do not know? There are a lot of girls out there who are really good at crafts and making chocolates. Should they make it? All right. In this case, we have two choices. Number one, you're really good at and the world needs it. And when I say the world needs it, it's very important. You might be like, I want to build sand art. That's something that I really enjoy, but the world doesn't need it. You'll not be able to take care of your needs. Forget about your wants. Will you be okay without serving your needs? Number one is do what you're really good at and the world needs it. And why I'm saying the world needs it? Because even if I just like to make toys out of paper. You might do it as your hobby, but cannot do it as your job because you might have needs which you have to take care of for your survival. And until unless the world needs those paper toys, you're not going to make your ends meet. So you're not going to get your roti, kapda, makan and everything, right? So that's very important. Number two, if you don't know what you're good at, become the best in whatever you do. A lot of time people are in a job of software developer and say, I never wanted to be a software developer, I wanted to be a marketer. When they get into the job of marketer, I never wanted to be a marketer, I wanted to be a poet. When they are in the job of being a poet, they are like, no, I never wanted to be into poetry, I wanted to be in a theater. They're always living they're always saying that they do not want to do this, but something else. But when they get into something else, they are again saying the same thing. Just the titles get changed. Don't be that. I call that as Sally, right? So Sally is a character that I have. Don't be Sally, or let's call it Paul. Okay? Don't be Paul. Paul, when doing an engineering job, saying I don't want to be an engineer, I want to be a plumber. But when doing a plumber's job, saying I don't want to be a plumber, I want to be a construction worker. And when doing the construction worker, he says that I don't want to be a construction worker, I wanted to be into real estate. Don't be that. Just focus on to whatever you have got in your hands and become the best into it. Life is going to manifest everything for you the way it should be. But don't say I never wanted to do this. Any which way you are in a position to do this. Even if you didn't want it to be a developer, become the best into it. That's exactly what I did. Let's be very, very honest. I wanted to be into business, but I couldn't figure out how to do it. What did I do? What can I do to make 25,000 per month? Development. How that 25,000 is going to help me support me? TCS की job मिल जाएगी. TCS की job मिलने के लिए क्या करना पड़ेगा? Coding में अच्छा होना पड़ेगा. That's it. I became the best into it. And when I say I became the best into it, I really mean it. There was nobody who could beat me into it. I openly say it till date, I do not enjoy coding. I have amazing people around me who do that. And that's fine. But when I was doing coding, I was beating them up. And beating them up till the knees. So that's how your attitude should be towards life. Even if you hate something, do it with your best of abilities. That's how you're going to build yourself as a great person or an individual. Are we good on it? All right. Let's get back to the workplace again. We forgot our topic. We got very much into the myths, but I think it was very much required. Do you think it was? Very much? All right. Let's get back to the workplace again. I'm going to talk about certain things that you should prioritize over the others when choosing the best workplace for yourself. Okay? And when I say prioritize, I do not mean to say that the other is not important. They are, but as long as you can get onto the better side of it, or as long as you can prioritize the more important things of life, you'll be in a better position or you'll be at a better workplace, right? So let's check them out one by one. Number one, skills are always greater than money, packages and perks. A lot of your friends might have went to some amazing packages of whatever, 1-2 lakh rupees more than you. But the positions that they got themselves into didn't allow them to explore their skill set or to grow their skill set, or didn't allow them to experience much into life or much into their job, and they ended up not growing. So whenever we are just out there for money, we trade our growth, and growth in terms of skill sets. So you always should prioritize whatever position you're getting into, whatever job role you're getting into, whatever workplace you're getting into. Is that workplace going to provide you the skills that you need for your jobs, for your career and for your life? And how one workplace can provide you those skills? by allowing you with the opportunities to explore and experience things, irrespective of your number of years of experience, irrespective of your whatever backgrounds, right? If that's going to be the case, you are at a better workplace. Okay? And I don't mean to say that money, package and perks doesn't matter. No, they do. They are important. There's nothing wrong in it. But as long as you're only going to be like, koi bhi mujhe khareed lo, 2 lakh rupees zyada deke, you'll end up in a ditch which you'll never be able to come out of. Because again, whenever I say ditch, I mean to say EMI. So you'll end up selling your freedom because someone is going to be paying you 2 lakh, 3 lakh rupees more per year, but is not going to allow you to have opportunities to explore more and experience more into your job to attain new skill set, because they think that if they are going to learn new skill set, will have to provide them good appraisals, otherwise they are going to leave. So in order to retain people, do not allow them the opportunities to upgrade their skill sets and end up retaining them more. This is a clear strategy which a lot of corporates out there execute on. Don't let people learn much, they're not going to leave. That's the exact opposite that we do in here. We teach the max we could and then let them decide whether they still want to be here or not. The ones who think that they've learned the max that they could, leave early. The ones who are still hungry to gain more and to grow more, stay with us. And that's all what the thing is. Getting it? Any questions? Next, people are more important than brands. If you think you've got a job in a brand which the world knows about, it might help you to get the nice girl for a marriage, but definitely not to build a better career for yourself. It's the people you work with that matters more than the brands you work for. All of these brands are brands because there were some people out there who made sure that that brand got built. But when that brand got built, a lot of people joined those brands just to be in those brands, not to build something great over there. And when you hang up with the people who just join the brand for being a brand and do not have enough motivation to build a brand, you do not actually understand how to build a brand. And when you don't understand how to build a brand and what kind of an individual you need to be in order to build that kind of brand, you end up losing a lot of learning in life. And you end up creating yourself as the great individual out there. So never fall into the trap of brand. If you're getting to work with Mr. Ambani, Mr. Adani, even if you have to pay, if I'll have to pay 1 crore rupees per year, per year to work with Mr. Ambani, I would be happily doing that. But a lot of people, even in our organization, would not be willing to work with me, even if I'm the one who is paying them. They can learn a lot from me if they're going to work with me. But they choose their comfort zone, they choose their priorities, and they end up staying with the kinds that they are and not growing in life. And you might think that Mr. Ambani might be so busy, he'll not consider your application as to be his intern for free. And by the way, a lot of people out there in life who think that, who are not even willing to intern someone or to do work for someone for free. They're like, even if I'm going to work for Ambani should give me more. No, arey nahi. The life learnings that he's going to give you in those 2 years is going to be way more important than whatever amount of money that he's going to pay you. So you do not actually understand transactions. The transaction is happening. It's a long-term investment that is happening from Mr. Ambani's connection, influence, knowledge, everything. That is going to make you way more than the 12 lakh package that you're seeking from Mr. Ambani. But we end up missing that. Even if you're going to work into Reliance, it's probably like, it doesn't matter whether you are working into Reliance or not, unless you're working with the people who are building Reliance or on the shoulders of whom the Reliance brand is standing. So it's always going to be the people that you work with, which is going to be more important than the brands that you work with. And I hope that makes sense. Any question? Exactly. That's why interviewers need to be really, really good, and interviewers need to be in a position where they try to teach them certain things and understand whether they're coachable enough or whether they're even willing enough or not. And even if the person does not have the skill set but is really coachable enough, the interviewer should hire them. And that's why and I see a lot of this happening. Interviewers in brands mock you in your interviews. Tumko ye nahi aata. You don't do this. You don't do this. What have you done in these many years? All of these things. It should be completely opposite. The kind of interview that you have is the reflection of the kind of organization that you're getting into. That's exactly how you figure it out. So when you're giving an interview, if you have the interviewer who's the bossy kind of, better not work there. If you have the interviewer who's like, "Arey yaar, aise kar lenge. Let's do it. Let's try it that way. Let's do it this way." He'll be a guide for your career for the rest of your life if you're willing to be. That's the case. So you should always learn about these people in the interview process. And if not interview processes, now we have communication channels all over, right? So you just ask the right questions. Don't ask how is the company to work with. No. How are the people who are working here, or what are the mindset of the people working in? And by the way, a lot of interviews ask these questions. Do you have any questions after they complete their interview? You should be prepared with your list of interviews. What are your thoughts about this? What are your thoughts about this? What are your thoughts about this? You get to understand about their mindset. You get to understand about their skill set, experiences and everything. Because it's not just them who can give you, like, who can provide you the opportunity. It's also you who's going to decide whether I want to work for this individual or not. Right? So that's how one should go about it. Any more questions? All right, next. Meaningful relations are more important than your comfort zones. What that means is, you might think that if I'm going to learn data structures, I'm going to be the best developer out there. If I'm going to learn the generative AI, I'm going to be the best amazing person out there. See, it's not that. Or it's not really like that. You do not actually grow much in life unless you build meaningful relationships. And when I say meaningful relationships, what I mean by that is someone who is in a position to provide you opportunities to explore. Someone who is in a position to provide you experiences that they have had in their life. Someone who is in a position to teach you some stuff. They are the most important people to hang out with, not your peers who you came out with from your college. Be with those people if you really want to be like them. But a lot of people are like, I just want to hang around with my peers, or I just want to hang around with my folks out there who are just दिन में 4 बार चाय पीने जाएंगे, 2 बार सुट्टा पीने जाएंगे, और बहुत सारी चीज़ें करेंगे, which are not bad. ठीक है, personal choices है. Point is, you should build meaningful relationships with win-win situations. And what that means is, you should be in a position to provide something. Let's take an example. Puneet is here, Manish is here. Puneet should not focus on to spending time with his friends and peers in here, because these friends 2 years down the line are going to be somewhere out there in their life and will be doing something else. If he really wants to grow his career, the best workplace would be to have a guy like Manish who is willing to teach him, who is willing to guide him, and he should be in a position to serve Manish as well. A lot of time what guys like Puneet think that Manish's job is to teach him. No. First, you have to serve Manish, and then Manish is going to teach you some stuff which is going to help you grow in your career. And by the way, we do not learn anything from books. We learn it from people. And if you do not know and understand how meaningful relations or relationships can impact your life, wait until you end up in a bad marriage. So instead of spending your time in your comfort zones, focus on to building meaningful relationships with meaningful people and bringing some value for them. And then if they are willing to provide some value back to you, good. But do not just expect that just because someone is their senior, their job is to teach them. No, it is not. If that is happening by default, you are working in an amazing workplace. But if that's something that's not happening by default, the way to do it is by providing value to your reporting to, by providing value to Manish. That's something that needs to be done. Did I answer your question? All right. So meaningful relationships are very, very important, more than anything. Yaar, बहुत simple है ना. I'm telling this to you. If I'm going to work with Mr. Ambani, things in my life are going to change drastically. Why? Because I'll be having a meaningful relation with him. I'll just have to pick up my phone. I'm going through this. Arre, ऐसे कर ले. One word from him is going to make a lot of difference into how I'm executing. one resource that he's going to provide me for doing certain thing is going to be so much more valuable than the things that I'll be able to do on my own. So we must have come through these situations, right? Puneet, you must have come across some situations in which you must be struggling into editing something for last 6 hours, and Manish came and he solved it in 6 minutes, right? So all of these situations can only happen when you have that kind of relationship with him. But if you're not focusing into having those kind of relationship and you're living in your own ego, in your own attitude, in your own arrogance, only God knows what's going to happen to you, right? Or in your comfort zone. Make sense? Next. See, a lot of people think that if I'm going to be the best coder, I'm going to get the best package. Of course you're going to. No doubt about it. But that best package is going to be the only thing that is going to help you lead a better life? Probably not. If you think, just wait until it happens to you. Has happened a lot with a lot of people. A lot of people said this to me and I was like, wait, we'll see. Did we? So, wisdom for life is way, way, way more important just your job related skill sets. Because let me tell you one thing. In year 2000, if you would have been an editor of a newspaper, it was an amazing job to do. It was a most desirable job to do. But now, nobody actually wants to be that. Or even if people want to do that, they're not getting paid for their job related skill sets that well. So the people who have understandings of life, money, people skills, end up making more out of life and more out of their career than just the job related skill set. A lot of people who are really good coders do not want to learn leadership skills, do not want to learn people skills. And they end up in a ditch where they're like, I want to grow my salary, I want to grow more, but this company is not providing me enough opportunities to do it. No, the company is providing you enough opportunities to do it, but you're not taking all of those opportunities. Why? Because you still want to be a developer. You don't want to be a leader. You do not want to have a team of 10 people working with you as a developer, and you do not want to pass on the knowledge that you have, that you accumulated along the way. So the point is, just job related skills might help you get more money, but at one point of time, after certain moments or after a significant amount of time, you'll get stuck. You'll get stuck, that's for sure, right? So that's more important. Next, one should not focus on to building years of experience. One should focus on to building capability. You might think that after having 5 years of experience, I'll be able to make this. Why not make that amount of money happen in 2 years? All what you'll have to do is work harder. But people are like, no, after 5 years, I'll be working on this package because industry standard is this. Maybe the industry gets collapsed. And it happened with a lot of industries. Your industry is not inevitable, bhai. So after 5 years, whether you're going to even exist or not, we do not know. After 5 minutes, we do not know about it. That's how uncertain life is. So when you're focusing into years of experience and not building capabilities, and when I say capability, it's the ability to get things done. You are choosing the workplace with wrong intentions, or you are not doing right with your own career. Okay? Any questions in this? Alright, after prioritizing the above, follow the right now triangle to live in reality instead of a delusion. A lot of time people are like, I'm getting growth opportunities, but I'm not getting enough comfort and freedom. I'm getting enough comfort and freedom, but I'm not getting enough growth opportunities. I am getting growth opportunities and I'm getting enough comfort and freedom, but I'm not getting the money that I want. So it's a delusion. Why it's a delusion? Because of this right now triangle. Let's use this right now triangle to understand it. People want social life. I want to have the time to spend with my friends, have some beers with them, have some do some hangouts with them and everything. I want comfort, I want family time, I want freedom. At the same point of time, I want money, power, position, lifestyle, everything. And at the same point of time, I should get enough opportunities to learn more skill sets and learn more knowledge. See, if you will have all of these three at once, you'll be at the ideal center. And that ideal center is an absolute delusion. Typically, if you're going to work for the big brands, you are going to get a lot of perks, good packages and everything, but not enough growth opportunities. Okay? Not fast growth, right? You might have to wait for 8 years to even become a senior software engineer. That's how things are. Okay? But if you'll be working in a startup, you might not get money, but a lot of skill set and like a lot of skill set, but at the same point of time, some freedom. Or if you're not getting the freedom, if you have to like work for the skill set and the money, you have to forget about the freedom. So at any given point of time, life is at the corners of the right now triangle, which is the reality, and the delusion is the ideal center. You do not have to imagine that our workplace should have everything. Okay? So this is the corners. If someone is on this, if someone is on the corner above, then they'll have money, power, position, social life, comfort, freedom, but they'll not be accumulating new skill sets and new knowledges because they're not exposing themselves enough for new experiences with the help of which they'll be able to accumulate new skill set. Okay? If someone is getting money, power, and skill set, they'll not have much time because in order to attain skill set, the best way is to do it. Can you learn how to make something, how to cook without just by looking at a YouTube video? You'll have to cook it, right? That's what it is. So if you want to learn skill sets regularly, if you want to attain knowledge regularly, you'll have to expose yourself into situations which is going to allow you to learn things regularly. Getting it? Money, power, position is something that you're going to get along with it, but you're not going to get social life. If you're getting skill set and knowledge and social life and comfort and freedom and everything, you're not going to get the maximum money. So when deciding the best workplace for yourself, pick a corner, not the ideal center, because there exists none whose life is perfect. You might think that someone who has got 100 million has a perfect life. They're struggling to have kids. They do not have parents. They have divorced parents. That person's father used to beat him up like anything, and that trauma is still with them. They're regularly going to the therapist to come over it. So, you're getting what I'm trying to say? What? Life of nobody is perfect and no workplace is perfect. You have to choose the best according to, you have to choose the best according to yourself. What do you want at any given moment of time? And you stick to any corner. Not expect an ideal center. Otherwise, you'll end up going to being ungrateful to life. You'll be always crippling about life, about work. All the people who you hang around with in your organization or in your company who are cribbing about the things about the company, they do not have free coffee, they do not have nice parking, they do not have this, they do not have that. In that place they have this, in that place they have this. They are just trying to create absolute delusions for themselves. All the guys who are married and whose spouse or girlfriends are saying, if they're not married, are saying that girl has a better life than ours. That couple has a better life than ours. They are doing this, they are doing that. Why aren't we doing it? Are living in absolute delusions. No one is perfect out there and no workplace is perfect out there. You have to choose what do you want in your life at the given stage of your life and accordingly work with that. But a lot of time what happens is people want to be at the ideal centers, and that's exactly when the struggle starts happening. They want to be the perfect one, but they end up realizing they're not the perfect. They want to have the best family life. They want to earn the maximum money, and they still want to be the most knowledgeable person out there. Not going to happen. Give up one thing, everything will happen. Give up family life if you want the best knowledge and best money. Give up money if you want the best family life and the best knowledge. Right? Give up knowledge if you want the best money and the best family time. So, live in realities, not in delusions. Every workplace lacks in certain things, by the way. There's no perfect one. Hence, there exists no workplace which has it all. Select the one which suits you and your aspirations the best. And by the way, at the given stage of your life. If someone is at 40, they want more family time because they're scared. After 5 years, my kids are going to be in colleges. They might not live in this city and they might not even come back forever. So I've got just 5 years left in my life to spend with them. I want to get the maximum juice out of it. So if they are smart and wise enough, they'll give up money, they'll give up skill set to have more family time. If they are wise. But if they are not wise, what are they going to do? They'll pick up everything. They'll be like, I don't want to lose the money. I do not want to lose the family time, and I do not want to lose the opportunities to learn new things. Brother, you're going to end up miserable, and the family time that you're going to spend with your kids as well is the family time that you're going to spend with yourself, with your family is going to be the worst experiences that your kids are going to accumulate of having you. We see a lot of parents agitated, frustrated all of the time, right? When they come back their home, especially fathers. Because they want to be at the ideal center. They want to grow in the organization, they want to learn new things, and they want to have family time. But they're struggling to manage all three, and hence frustrated in all three. Don't be that father. Don't be Paul. Ready? Next. What to do in case if you do not get the kind of workplace you want? See, we have figured out what all things to prioritize. And by the way, all of these things are a suggestion, not a must. It's the choice is always going to be yours. What do you have to choose? And by the way, the kind of seeds that you're going to sow is the kind of fruits that you're going to reap. If you think I am not going to take money as an advantage and freedom as an advantage, but still I should get the knowledge and skill set, not happening. You sow the seeds of the hard work, skill set and knowledge is going to happen. But you do not want to sow the seeds of hard work, but still you want the knowledge and skill set to happen, not happening. So that's what it is. So the point is, when defining and when choosing the workplace, there are some things that you should prioritize. There are some myths that we have already debunked that you should know about. But even after prioritizing all of these things, if you do not get that kind of workplace, what you should do? All right, the answer is, if you do not get the kind of workplace that you're looking for, then create a workplace which you desire for yourself and provide opportunities to other people like you in that. At least that's what I did. I was like, I wanted to stay in Jaipur. I didn't like any of the companies who were executing in Jaipur. I wanted to do great things in my life, but I wanted a great workplace to be in. I could not find any. It was a very difficult journey though. But eventually I built it. And not just for myself, but all of the other people also who had similar aspirations. And that's all what we are trying to do. We're trying to, देखो बहुत ही सिंपल है ना, तुमको अच्छा फ्रूट नहीं मिला, मिल ही नहीं रहा, खूब मेहनत कर ली, what can you do? Grow. If you're not getting the sweetest mango that you're looking out there, brother, plant a tree of mango, wait until the mango happens and then eat it. You're going to get to know. But unless you're not ready to plant a seed, wait until the mango tree grows and then the mango comes and it being fruit, it being sweet. Don't crib about the current working place or current workplace. That's very, very important. We crib about मेरे घर में ये नहीं है, मेरे घर में वो नहीं है, मेरे फादर ने मेरे को ये नहीं दिया, मेरे को नहीं दिया. तुम्हारे पिताजी यही बोलते हैं उस सिचुएशन के अंदर, बेटा तुम अपनी औलादों को इतना भी दे देना, तो देख लेंगे. And they are right at it. You might crib about the workplace that you have right now, but do you have the abilities and the capabilities to even build a workplace like this? If you do, go out there and build it and provide opportunities to people who are like you. And if you do not, at least don't crib about it. That's the point. Be grateful for whatever you have, right? Be grateful of whatever kind of mango your father is bringing into the house. Unless you're going, you have the guts, you have that fire in you that I'm going to plant a mango tree and I'm going to make sure that the fruit comes out sweeter. Have value for it, be grateful for it, and have gratitude for it. Any questions?
What if someone joins an organization and after joining they realize that this is not the right place for them? And you have said that you should create a workplace for yourself. But what if they doesn't have the power or the right opportunity to create that for themselves?
Then what choices? See. When let's take this as an example. What if I do not get the right kind of match that I'm looking for to get married with? This is a pure dilemma that a lot of females out there are living in right now, including a lot of my sisters as well. The point is, now to get married, there is no mother who is directly going to create your coding of the guy and deliver it at the age of 25, 28, whatever age you're looking for. It'll take 25 to 28 years to have a guy that suits your specific requirements. So there are only two choices. Either you do it, whether you have the power, money, resources or not, or to cut down or to shorten down your expectations towards that guy. Getting it? So इसका बेसिक सा उदाहरण अगर मैं हिंदी भाषा में दूं कि भाई अभी तो कोई माँ सीधे के सीधे 30 साल का लड़का जन्म नहीं देगी तुम्हारी रिक्वायरमेंट के हिसाब से, हाँ है ना? तो इससे इस केस में करना क्या चाहिए? खुद की या तो रिक्वायरमेंट को थोड़ा सा कम कर लो, क्योंकि अब धीरे धीरे समझ आ जाता है फीमेल्स को, ठीक है? या तो खुद की रिक्वायरमेंट्स को कम कर लो, नहीं तो फिर ढूंढ लो खुद से जाके, अगर ऐसा कोई मिल जाए तो। दोनों ही नहीं हो रहा है तो आपको कहीं ना कहीं एक जगह सेट करना पड़ेगा। और अगर बिल्ड करने में टाइम लग रहा है, इफ लेट्स से कि भाई, सो दैट्स फॉर द गाय, लेट्स टॉक अबाउट द वर्क प्लेस। इफ यू आर नॉट गेटिंग द काइंड ऑफ वर्क प्लेस दैट यू आर लुकिंग फॉर, and creating that is going to be a problem. You're looking for a delusional workplace. And even if that workplace exists, you're not worthy enough to be in that workplace. So either make yourself worthy enough to be in that workplace. There might be those guys, but what all right, let's take that example. मेरी बहन का ये है कि भैया मेरे को ऐसा चाहिए, these are the requirements, ऐसा tall, dark, handsome, जो भी सारे XYZ सारी चीज़ें होती हैं. And I'm like, all right, but what have you got in the plate to offer to that guy? Because all of the girls out there I see wants these requirements to be fulfilled. You might be a little beautiful, but not the extreme beauty out there. You might be from a decent family, but not from an amazingly wealthy family. You might be having good whatever things, but that doesn't mean that that guy is going to like you. So the point is, it's always going to be the perfect match. That's why we call it as a match. That some things they'll have to adjust, or some things you'll have to adjust. So, and if that girl is like, and if my sister is saying like, no, I want like this only, then I'm like, all right, become worthy like that. Or be worthy of having these kind of guys as your spouse. So if you're not taking care of yourself, start taking care of yourself. If you're not presentable enough, start become more presentable. If you're not knowledgeable enough, if you're not wealthy enough, focus on to those things. That guys, if they're supposed to come, will come. But people a lot of times are like, we have these expectations from our workplace because we feel we are entitled and are not worthy of having these kind of workplace if they already exist. So either it is like, it doesn't exist, and if it exists, you are not worthy enough to have it. This is the reality. So that's one way.
Are there any red flags or warning signs that an individual should be cautious of while evaluating a potential workplace?
Yeah, red flags.
Red flags of a workplace. See, this is again subjective. A lot of people might think that I'll not get into it's absolutely subjective. Something might be a red flag for someone, but might not be a red flag for some other. Let me explain that with an example of a workplace. You might think that this workplace is not going to pay me much, and this might be a workplace red flag for you. But the one who is looking to get skill sets in life or experiences in life and want to grow, for them, money is not going to be a red flag, but not having skills is going to be a red flag. So whatever your aspirations are, if you're not getting those aspirations fulfilled at the kind of workplace that you're looking for, that's an absolute red flag. So it's the perfect alignment of the workplace or the company culture with the kind of career that you want to have. That's all what matters. Otherwise, people call places as toxic, right? Why do they call it as toxic? Because they had different expectations out of that company or out of that organization, and the organization wants different things. So it's the misalignment of expectations and delivery from the company or from the workplace with the individual, which creates a workplace as a toxic thing or a red flag thing, which is so the one thing that people should do is be very clear and be very open and transparent about the things that they're looking for in that workplace. Have open communication and conversations with the people who are recruiting them, and whether they'll be getting it in here or not. And these are the certain things that I am not willing to do. Will you be comfortable with this or not? So all of these red flags can be removed by having open and transparent communications, which a lot of people really don't do. I see a lot of experienced professionals as well who don't do that. So yeah, that's what it is. And red flag is absolutely subjective.
So earlier we talked about brands, that we should not prioritize brands while choosing a workplace. But how much weight should one place on a reputation of the company while considering a job offer?
See, a lot of times, reputation matters. That's why Reputation matters. That's why Russia is not considered as a place to be, but America or US is considered as a place to be. But the point is, the reputation gets built by the powerful. What that means is, even though Russia might be right at their place, but just because the media was with US, or the US was the one in power, they controlled the media and defined the narrative. So a lot of things what you hear about the company is about the reputation of the company is what you hear from the people who either had bitter experiences, if you are listening something bad with the organization, or are just simply jealous of the organization not delivering what they were expecting. So reputation is actually dependent onto the kind of people. All right, let's talk about it. If you're going to have a conversation with someone about how Shrey is, and if they have bitter experiences with me, or if they're jealous of me, they're going to say bad things about me. Even though if you're having direct communications with me, you do not even feel that way. So reputation is completely dependent on the kind of people that you hear it from, or the sources that you hear it from. 3 days, 5 days, 5 days back, CNN, no, not CNN, Wall Street Journal, New York Times, BBC, all wrote down the Ram Mandir consecration as a potential or a probable negative thing, but the NDTV, which was owned by Adani, as a positive thing. So whether BBC is right or NDTV is right is completely dependent on to which news channel you hear to and you are more aligned with. So it's a delusional thing, by the way. The point is, are you going to get what you are looking for? And if you're going to get what you're looking for, go for it. Try it, experiences. Don't get it, forget about the organization, workplace. Go somewhere else and get it. But again, reputation. By the way, I just want to give this example to all the beautiful women out there. Didn't this happen with you in school or college that you were beautiful and you were not ready to mingle with anybody, and hence all of the guys said bad things about you? So the reputation of the girl got torn down by those guys who were looking for some advantages from that girl, but didn't really got it, and hence started spreading rumors about them to destroy their reputation out there. This is how the society works. So don't rely on to those guys' implications about that girl. Just have a conversation with that girl and understand what kind of a girl she is. That's a better way of figuring out, right? And do you relate with it? This happens? So that's what it is.
Next is, how can someone assess a company's culture and determine if it's a good fit for them?
If they are very vocal about their culture, and if they are really out there presenting their culture, that's the one way. We do it with the help of Life at Syntaxa. But a lot of companies do not do it. You just ask it from the people who are working there about the culture, and they're just going to tell it to you that what exactly is it like, and if it is aligned with what you're looking for in the workplace.
How can someone ensure their chosen workplace will support their long-term goals?
Have open and transparent communications. People start thinking that just because I'm going to do something, I'm going to get something. No, it's not going to be like that. It's absolutely not going to be like that. You have to have an open conversation and transparent communication. See, I'm doing this and I want this in my life. Will I be able to get it? The person who will be sitting right in front of you will be telling you whether you're going to get it or not. And if you want it, these are the things that you can do to get it. So like, let's say someone wants a better position. And they're like, yeah, I am willing to take on more responsibilities. What things can I do to get to that position? But a lot of time people think, yeah, I've been working in here from last 3 years and I should have been placed at this particular position. No, brother, sister, it's not going to happen. Did you had a conversation what is required to be done in order to be at particular position? No, you didn't. If you had the conversation, the other person who is responsible to putting you at that particular position or that particular money would have been very clear. This guy or this girl wants this and they are doing this, and if they complete this particular thing with this particular outputs, they're going to get it. So having open and transparent communication is the only way to figure out whether you're going to get your aspirations fulfilled in your organization or not. Just because someone else didn't got it and now have bitter feelings about the organization doesn't mean the organization is not going to serve your aspirations as well. It's just that you might not be having open conversations. And even if a lot of times people have open conversations about their aspirations, they do not execute the things required to be at that position or to get their aspirations served, right? So it's a lot of that bitterness as well. That they were like, no, I want to grow, but I don't want to do this. And this guy told me that you should do this, but I'm not doing this. Now I'll be like, no, I want it because I feel entitled to be at that particular position. You're not going to get it. So having open and transparent communication is the one key thing that matters the most. Any questions from the people on the call?
Like a little bit different from the context. But what advice do you have for professionals who are looking to make a career switch?
Be very clear what exactly you want in your life at this given stage of life that you are in. And have open conversations. And by the way, do not be in a delusion to get everything. Be willing to sacrifice one thing and be at the ends of the right now triangle or at the edges of not in the corners of the right now triangle rather than in the ideal center, because there exists none. Even if it seems from the outside, it's not going to be like that when you're going to get inside. And if it is like that, it's not going to stay like that forever. It's absolutely funded right now. Because of which they are able to give you things which makes you think that you are at the ideal center. But that funding is not going to last for a long periods of time, and you might not even have a job after some while, which is exactly what we are seeing out there in the world. The point is, when you're switching for a job, be very clear why you are switching the job, and you get the things because of which you are switching the job. And the best way is not to be aggressive, not to be manipulated, influenced by your peers. That's a very important thing. A lot of time what happens is my buddy is going, I should also go. There must be something wrong, no? उसको कमर का दर्द हो रहा है तुमको कमर का दर्द नहीं हो रहा है तो तुमको क्यों लग रहा है तुम्हारे भी कमर का दर्द होगा क्योंकि उसके हो रहा है. That doesn't make much sense. So that's what it is. And then, by the way, having these open conversations with the people with whom you're planning to work with is also a very important thing. A lot of times people think that they're going to get everything in that organization because they've heard it somewhere. No. Have these conversations in the interviews. Am I going to get it? And have it very politely, not being entitled. Because the people are going to be like, this person wants everything. And doesn't even have this, doesn't even have this to provide. And by the way, when having these conversations, this is a very, very important thing for everybody. Don't just have the conversations about what am I going to get. This is the second to ask. The first question to ask is, what I will be able to provide. And that way people are like, अच्छा ये पहले देने की बात करता है फिर लेने की बात करता है. This shows the kind of mindset that you have. So that's what it is. Any more questions? And anybody from the chat or from the call? No? Everyone sleeping? Yeah, please. I just wanted to know. Just give me a second. Yeah, now you're audible. Tell me.
Yeah, I just wanted to know. So sometimes what happens is, as employee or as working someone in the industry, I'm ready to over deliver. I'm ready to give some commitments and do the best possible way I can do. But yet sometimes people who are like
your reporting tools.
Yeah, exactly. They don't either see that, or they still feel that you are not giving your 100% or not giving up to their expectations.
All right. So his question is, if I have a reporting tool who doesn't feel that I'm giving my 100% and I am actually giving more than my 100%, what should you do in that situation? Number one thing is, have clear calculatable or not calculatable, have clear metrics that how will you measure it, that whether I'm doing this or not. It should not be just an emotion that whether I'm doing this or not. Like let's say, let's take an example. Someone who is working into the content team. They're like, I'm willing to over deliver and I'm willing to do all of these things. And you're like, right now you're publishing 3 blogs in 2 weeks. I just want you to publish 3 blogs in 1 week so that we can double up onto the
content distribution or the content delivery that we're trying to do onto whichever platform that we're trying to do that. So this is a clear metric. A lot of time what we ask is, a lot of time what reporting to does is, they're like, no, you work hard, we'll make sure you get promoted, we'll make sure you get rewarded and everything. Define work hard. Define work hard in clear metrics. What goals, what aspirations do you have? What activities and tasks do I have to perform? And at what levels you're going to measure it and how you're going to measure it. That's it. So if you'll be having the data, the right data to showcase that I did this from this level to this level, you'll be able to serve their expectations and have it in written. कि भैया तुमको ये सारी सब कुछ चीजें written में ये मत ले लेना कि तुम मुझे ये दे दोगे. It'll be a little rude.
Have the expectations clearly written. कि these are the things that I want. That I want. Like, let's say if I'm your reporting to, I'll be having conversations with you like, these are the things that I want Gurpreet to do, and this is how I'm going to measure it. Gurpreet, now you go and execute. And if the data is going to justify the things that you're doing, you've already won it. I'll not be able to deny that you didn't do that thing if that is measurable. So please make sure that whatever tasks, goals, activities that you're doing, which makes you think that you are over delivering, are quantifiable. That's all what I'm trying to say. Hope that makes sense. And that's one way. And second is having open and transparent communication and follow-ups and feedbacks at least once in a month or once in 2 months. That everything is going fine. Don't just go to them 1 year later when the time of appraisal is there. Just keep on checking with them. Everything good. ऐसे पानी गर्म करते तो हम ऐसे टच करके चेक करते हैं ना कि हाँ भाई हाँ ठीक है गुनगुना है अच्छा गर्म हो गया. So just make sure that they know that you are actually executing onto it, and that there are results which are in the positive direction of the flow. Any more questions? Anybody? Anyone else?
One more from my side.
Yeah, please.
So I started with the full motivation that I could have. And soon after 1 year, I feel like now I don't have the same motivation that I started with. It's now monotonous for me. Just go to the office, do the thing, and come back.
Second,
and this is what I don't wanted to live a life in the industry. I just want to enjoy the work that I've been doing. The same motivation that I started.
ठीक है.
See, a lot of time this has to do with, see, your team is just a reflection of your leader. A company is just a reflection of its leader. A city is just a reflection of its mayor. A state is just a reflection of its CM, and a country is just a reflection of its leader. So right now we all want great things for ourselves because our leader of the nation wants great things for him as well as for the country. So it's just a reflection of that. So a lot of time you lose motivation because the leader is not motivated enough. Change the leader. Change the leader. I mean, you just got to change the leader if they're not motivated enough, and then not making sure that the team is motivated enough. And in order to be motivated enough, they just constantly have to showcase the vision, right? Where we are going ahead. What are we going to do? How we are going to achieve, or how we are going to be the best out there, and what all we are going to do, and how what experience we are going to get out of it, and how it will be valuable. So all of these things are very, very important, which a lot of leaders do not understand. The next videos or in the next sessions, I'll be talking about leadership as well. In very detail and in multiple sessions actually, not in just one session. Where the leaders can also learn and understand how to lead people like you who start with motivation but end up being not motivated about life just because they are not motivated about life. So just change the leader. And a lot of time, by the way, to the answer of your first question, if the leader is not the man of his word or not the woman of his word, you just go to the leader of your leader and you go till the top. So like, let's say if you're a developer, you go to the team lead, and team lead is not sticking to their word, you go to the manager. If the manager is also not sticking to the word, you go to the whatever, above the manager and till the highest position in the organization, if you have the ability to do so. You just go all the way, and if the top is also like that, probably this is the culture of the organization. Leave it. If the people are not if the people do not take their words as their bonds, not worthy people to be relying on. Hope that makes sense. Gurpreet?
Yeah, that makes sense. Thank you for that.
All right.
Anyone else? Anything? Done? Dhanyavad.